Hey everybody, let's talk about HFT Hashflow because I was asked a lot about it. If you're in it, it's moved a lot, and I'm just getting a little bit today about what's been going on. Why has there been a 200% plus price surge? Should we expect it to continue? Should we expect it to retrace? And anything else that might come afterwards? So let's kind of just dive right into it, shall we? So guys, right up front, I want to tell you guys, I am not currently an owner of HFT Hashflow. I was previously. I got like about a 2.5, I think it was a little bit under that, 2.3, 2.4x on it. And I moved it over into, I think it was USDC at the time. And then everything crashed. I just never got back into it. But I'm still here to support the community. Think it's a good little DEX. And honestly, with everything that's been going on without rocketing it up in a short period of time, I had a couple people on both YouTube here and on Twitter reach out and ask me if I still own it, what do I think? So I thought it was a good idea just to do a little update, talk a little bit about it. And I'll bring up some charts at the end, let you know what I'm expecting and would think could happen from it. So if you don't know what Hashflow is, let's give a really short and quick update or just description of, shall we? So it's a DEX, a decentralized exchange, just like Radium or Arrow, very similar to that. It's multifaceted, multi-connecting, mostly through bridging of a couple different chains, like Hedera, AVAX, BNB, etc. And it helps out with buying, selling, trading, leverage, all that kind of stuff you'd expect from a trading platform, like a DEX. It was financially supported by Coinbase, which was one of the big things that got me into it in the first place. It is inflationary, but again, if you guys have watched any of my videos, inflation doesn't make me nervous whatsoever. It comes down to, are they open about the inflation? Do you know when it's coming? And do you know where it's going? Because when we get something that's inflationary, we release tokens, where it goes is the biggest thing if it matters or not, right? So if you've heard about it gets routine releases, it does. It used to be every month on the 6th or 7th. It was like 1.58 or something percent every month. And now they're on kind of a decreasing vetting schedule where about 1 to 4% every month is released, but it kind of happens almost every day. So there's small drips of hash flow into circulation very routinely. And again, I don't see anything wrong with that. This is going to be its first bull run, which that might or might not mean anything to you. If coins when they've gone through a bull run before, more so when they've survived a bear market, tells me, okay, it's got surviving skills. Awesome. But also typically coins that it's their first round tend to do well just because of, new shiny object syndrome, right? And it does have a lot of competition. However, it's done really well recently. If you're watching this video, you might have noticed. And it really came down to updates and partnerships that happened about 3 weeks ago, but the word just really started getting out about it. So when I was first reached out and asked about Hashflow, of what the heck's happening, it increased, I think, 80% in the first day. It's up over 200% in 2.5 days, 3 days. My first thought was a large Discord group came in for it. And I still think that's very likely just because the news and the partnership happened 3 weeks before the pump. So don't know if that's true. Doesn't really matter. But I did look at the wallets, and there was there's a lot of new holders. If you don't know how to do this, you can go on coinmarketcap.com, DeFi Llama. There's a lot of them, Etherscan, and you can see what wallets are buying and selling different crypto. And for Hashflow, I only went back 12 hours. There was a lot of identical buys going to the same 5 or 6 wallets, a lot of other ones too, but like larger buys of 10 to 60,000 HFT at a time. And they were very like 54,532.8632, and you would see that 3 or 4 times in a 10-minute period. So there's definitely a couple of whales that are jumping in on buying it, which is always good to see because that's what boosts the price up. And then everyone else, probably some of you guys, see it's going up, so it's, oh, this is good. So then you jump in and buy. And this is what can build a retrace later when those whales, or just people who's held on to it for a while, see it's going up 250%, so they're going to sell some. Right. So I would expect a retrace. We'll look at the charts momentarily, a few moments to see about that. But I want to talk a little bit about this partnership and the new deal that they had. And it involves Binance and Solana. Essentially, Binance enabled HFT to connect directly to Solana now. HFT was bound to a bunch of different dexes and cryptos, mostly layer ones, and they're now integrating Solana, and it's very cheap for them to do it. Solana is pretty fucking big if you haven't noticed, right? Like they have a lot of trading volume, they have a lot of crypto, a lot of memes, but some large utility coins like Render as well. So this was a big deal. It just dipped into a whole new territory of people in the Solana ecosystem for those who use HFT as a DEX to jump into and trade with. This greatly increased the trading volume by, I think it was about 200% in 24 hours of the amount that people were buying and selling and trading on HFT. So you see the amount of income coming in skyrocket. And then, of course, us retail start buying into, and that's what we started getting this price increase from. So Hashflow also in this partnership kind of signed in to get a closer partnership with a couple of the coins on the Solana ecosystem. So I'll tell you, I did not go and dig in too much to know what exactly were the details of these partnerships. This is the, hey, go do your own research thing, guys. So they made a deal with Jupiter, Camino, and Titan. Obviously, Jupiter, one I'm more familiar with. But they're decent sized names on Solana, tied down a little partnership. So there's a quicker and easier transaction for everybody. And it really benefits HFT a lot more. Solana obviously got a little bit of boost from this, not from price action, not that I saw at least, but from TVL, because now they're connected and they get pennies to the dollar for some of these transactions. So it was good for everybody. And then from there's a lot of the speculation, like, okay, when we have one good partnership on any company or business, right? The next thing is if they're going for something like this, they're probably going to go for something else similar. Total assumption, but also very likely true. What I mean by this is that they got partners with those three on Solana. Odds are they're going to try to get more partnerships on Solana. Why not, right? Tighten that up a little bit, make it a better deal for everybody. And then once you have something like that as a precedent, you can go ahead and start going better, bigger deals with Avalanche, or maybe Sui, or Caspa. And the more of these layer ones that they can get associated with gives them a better track record to associate with other layer ones, right? People always want to make sure they have a good resume, but they never want to be the first one on your resume. So it's good news in terms of more likely partnerships in the future. So now they have Binance and Coinbase and Solana all kind of helping out. Actually, wonderful news for Hashflow. So now I want to bring up the charts a little bit, show you a little bit of what I'm seeing, what I'm speculating. So when I looked at it, things haven't seemed to change too much in terms of patterns. Future, we never actually know. But when I was in it and I was constantly seeing resistance zones, and they still appear to be about the same. So let's talk about this, shall we? Okay, so right now, the time of this recording, we're floating around 15 cents. And I put a few lines out, and that is real close to, almost on the dot, a standard resistance line that Hashflow's always had, 14 to 15 cents. And we go up the next one around 20. I remember being closer to 22. I mean, I could zoom in a little bit and probably see that a little bit more, but expect the next big pump to be 21 to 22. So before I go any further, do realize a retrace at some point is imminent, right? It's going to happen. Whenever something goes up so high, so quick, like right here, that massive green candle, we're going to have a retrace because people are going to sell. And you know what? All about people taking profits. Take it when you can, guys. Have a plan and know when you're going to do it. So I don't know if we're going to sit here at the 15-cent marker. If I was looking at getting back in, which at this moment I'm not, but later in this cycle I very well may, by when I move some profits over. But if I was doing this, obviously not financial advice, is I would probably sit and wait. Right? There's always a chance it's going to boom back up, come closer up to the 22 cents, and then the next big line we're looking at is 30. It is possible it could just run. However, I feel statistically speaking, after something like a 200% increase, a hold or retrace is probably more likely. So I would probably wait. Do as your own will, take your bets, but I would probably wait to see if it drops down a little closer to the upper 13s or even 12 cents. I'd probably put a buy order in, and knowing that it would dip slightly at there and then come right back up. Like we have that here happening a couple of times, right? Like we have right here, the red candle, we're at 15.81, drops down to 13, real quick, goes a little lower and then comes back up to 14, 16, and then we go running a little bit. That's what I personally would look for. Granted, if you think that we're going to keep going up, then by all means hop in, and I wish the best for you no matter what you do. So once we hit the 19 to 21 cents, we'll call it, the next big line of resistance is going to be around 30 cents. Yeah, we can put in fib levels, and if I do more videos on hash flow in the near future, I might do that for fib levels between these zones to see if there's going to be a big resistance spot. But after we get to around that 31 cents, the next big jump is going to be up almost 40, around 39 cents. So, and we can play this game, look at further and further, but then at this point, last time it was up this high, there was a lot less tokens. So I'd say we'd have to do a much deeper dive to see the reality of how quickly that would happen. So the big thing you're looking for at this point, or that I would be looking for, is how well does it hold around that 15-cent marker, right? And again, 15 cents can mean 16 and a half, 15 cents can mean 13.8, right? But staying in that little range. Because news dies pretty quick sometimes, but there was a decent amount of new holders that came in, which is always favorable for decreasing selling pressure, right? Because you have people that buy up here, they're going to want to hold. And just how much whales are going to sell off. I think there's a decent chance it's going to hold around this 12 to 15 cent range or go up. I'm hoping that for everybody. So there's my little update with HFT. They got a good little deal opened up with Binance, digging into Solana and other Solana ecosystem coins. And I would expect, so if you're in Hashflow and you want to keep doing research on it, keep an eye on other ecosystems that they're talking to get similar partnerships, because business-wise, that's what I would expect them to do. So if you guys have any questions, please put them down in the comments below. If you're new to this channel, even if you're not new to this channel, thank you for being here this long in this video. I appreciate it. But I will talk about crypto I don't own sometimes, specifically when you guys ask me about it, and more so specifically if I was already familiar with it. Because to be completely honest, that way I don't have to do as much research because I already have a base of information for it. Plus, this one really did catch my attention. I was kind of like Hashflow a little bit. So let me know what you guys think. Are you in Hashflow? What point did you get in? Do you have a price prediction of where you think it's going to go? Before you ask me on mine, I've got videos on that. If I remember, I'll put it in the description. So I'm not going to promise it, but hopefully I'll remember as I go through this video. But let me know what you guys think. Where did you get in? Where do you see Hashflow going? And are you in any other DEXs? Like right now, I'm mostly in terms of DEXs, I use Arrow. I use it and I invest into it. But let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you all soon. Peace.